What up, y'all? Conscious One coming at you. So, guys, I just want to talk to y'all a little bit about, life growing up on the west side of Chicago and what that was like. Being in the situation that I was in because I had a lot of opposition. Think about it. Being part of, you know, I wasn't allowed to, go to Christmas parties, birthday parties. I wasn't allowed to do what the other kids was doing in the classroom. So, can you imagine how alienated I felt growing up in school because you were part of a religion that didn't allow you to do that. And we're not going to talk about whether that's good or bad, guys, uh, because it's irrelevant. That's where a lot of confusion comes from, man. Because just like when you read the Bible, there are things that contradict other things. You could say, "Oh, certain religious groups do this good," but then there's always something that you can point at and say, "Nah, that religious group made them do this. That's bad." That's why you know some people want to know, well, if I don't serve the right God, or if I don't believe in Allah, does that mean bad for me? I tell people all the time, no, it doesn't mean that. You're gonna God judges the individual is more important than the group. So I'm telling y'all, whatever type of religious affiliation, whatever you believe in, it's gonna come down to your heart, and that is something that only can be looked at on an individual level. Okay. So we're not going to talk about, well, this is good and that's bad. Because regardless of what religious group you're talking about, I don't care if it's the Nation of Islam, whatever, there's always going to be some good and there's going to be some bad. But I'm just talking about just how it was for me growing up and how every single situation I was in was about survival. I had to survive being made fun of in school. I mean, guys, can you imagine how much it took for me to become the individual that I am now with all this opposition around you and being isolated from, other people, places, and things? Guys, most people do not make it out of the situation that I have been in. I would say 90% don't. The odds were against me, totally against me. I'm talking about who I am today as an individual. I literally, this is I am I was made from God, man. I mean, guys, there are even days I ask myself, like, how the fuck am I this strong? How the fuck am I this confident? All I can do is thank God. It took a lot of work. Most people, I say it again, most people being in the situation that I grew up in do not make it out. You're not supposed to make it out. So I didn't start getting real confident until I would say around the age of 26, 27 years old, because I became a bartender at an international airport, and I got a chance to talk to a lot of people from around the world, learned that, people pretty much want the same basic things, basic necessities, right? Food, clothing, shelter. I really came out of my shell. I started bartending at 25, and that really helped me a lot. That's when I really started coming out of my shell. And then by the time I moved to Las Vegas, we talking about after 30, 31 years old, I became pretty confident after the age of 30. Because I had moved to Las Vegas by myself. Guys, you realize what I'm telling you? Most people do not make it to this level of bravery or confidence coming from where I came from. I'm handmade by God. I'm like, you go to the store and they say our food is handcrafted. I was crafted, guys. Okay, I was handcrafted by God. There's no way I could have done this by myself. Like I told y'all, the only thing I give myself credit for is believing. I believe that my righteousness would gain me favor in the end, and that's exactly what it's doing. But I ain't gonna keep this long, guys. When you just living your whole life just in survival, you can't really show your hand to a lot of people because you don't trust people. You don't trust nobody. So I learned not to show my hand. And think about it, as a black man working on a lot of jobs that the boss was white, I couldn't. I had to keep people guessing a lot because if they knew my hand, if they knew my hand, I wasn't gonna stay on that job for that long because you got a lot of narcissistic people out here that like to play ping pong with you. They like to play games with you. And remember I told y'all, talking about Greg Maddox, he'll let people win just to strike them out later. I had to do a lot of stuff to keep people guessing, guys, because these narcissists, it's a sick game that they like to play. It's a sick game that these narcissists like to play. So I cannot always show my hand about how I really feel about a particular situation. Okay, and that doesn't have anything with me, being fake. That's just how it is when you're just survive. I don't know how it feels to live. I only know how to survive, guys. And that's not living at all. Being around people that you can't trust all the time, and then all of a sudden you're supposed to just snap your fingers, and all of a sudden you're supposed to just jump to this and trust this group of people. It unfortunately is not that easy. People have a lot to prove to me before I can actually trust people again. I don't remember. I mean, that's just the way it is. But right now, I just know that I love myself, and if I love myself, then I can love God, and I can learn to love people who really do care about me when that shows up. But you can't expect the individual to just, snap your fingers and all of a sudden that person is healed from a situation of just surviving all the time, surviving in a family unit, surviving on a job, surviving in any friendship you had, surviving in any relationship with a woman you had, just surviving. I don't know how it feels to live. So, yeah, I just want to put that out there. But, God is working on me to heal that. And I look in the mirror. I know God handcrafted me, so I gotta, my healing comes fast. But like I told y'all, man, 90% of the people who grew up like I grew up, they don't make it out. They just simply don't make it out.